questions which are put over and over again. What did ministers know? When did they know? I put a third question, though. Why didn't they find out? Because, you know, as somebody who was in the civil service, albeit as an admin trainee, there would have been a wealth of information about the meetings with Sandline, about that there would have been memorandums, there would have been minutes, there would have been telegrams, there would have been security service briefings, and it seems to me that even if ministers didn't know, and I have to take their word they didn't know, if they didn't know, the question I want to know, as someone that's genuinely interested in Africa and knows that a lot of people in Africa believe that are looking to this government to take a stronger and more ethical interest in them than past governments have done, what I want to know from ministers is why didn't they ask? Why didn't they ask? I don't believe that if civil servants had been asked to come forward and give the fullest possible briefing, they would have held back information. So the question that has gone through my mind over and over again when I've heard the government's version of events is not what did ministers know? The question that's gone through my mind is why didn't they ask? Let me just speak briefly, because I'm conscious many people want to get in, about the terms of reference of the inquiry. I have had the terms of reference of the inquiry passed to me. They're in the library. And I'm surprised to see that there is nothing in the terms of reference about a possible breach of UN sanctions. I mean, what it says here, the investigation would look into the allegation with a view to establishing what was known by government officials and ministers, whether any official encouragement or approval was given to such plans, if so, on what authority. There's nothing about a breach of UN sanctions. And I mean, I put it to the House. Although I was a very humble civil servant, I learned a thing or two, even at my low level, about how you fix an inquiry. Now, members opposite have focused on the people doing the inquiry, but as an ex-trainee manager, I know one way to fix an inquiry is to fix the terms of reference. How strange! How strange, after all the debate about UN sanctions, not just in relation to Sierra Leone, but also to Iraq, how strange, after all the debate about UN sanctions, for us to set up this well-trumpeted inquiry in Sierra Leone, but there is nothing in the terms of inquiry about the possibility of a breach of UN sanctions. I find that strange, and I'll be interested to see what my honourable friends... I'm grateful.
Conducting, if I may say so, a very penetrating analysis of the terms of reference. Does she not think it's all the more strange to appoint as the chairman of the inquiry someone who's described as a distinguished lawyer when he's not actually going to have to exercise his legal expertise in the light of the terms of reference?
Grateful to my honourable friend. The chairman, as is pointed out, a distinguished lawyer, and yet the central legal issue in relation to events in Sierra Leone, whether or not there was a breach of the UN sanctions, is the one issue that he's not supposed to be looking into. Grateful.
Giving way, in support of the point she's making, may I remind her that on the 6th of May, the Foreign Secretary stated, "I accept that if there has been a breach, that is a very serious matter which must be fully and openly investigated so that the full facts can be established."
I'm at a loss. It is hard to square the terms of reference, which I have seen this afternoon, with the debate and the focus of the debate about Sierra Leone up until now. It is, if I might say so, a little bit like Hamlet without the prince. But in drawing my remarks to a close, let me say this. We are going to have the independent inquiry. The Foreign Affairs Committee is going to look with all due energy into the areas which we think we can usefully inquire. But what I put to ministers on the Treasury bench is this. If it was the case, and I do not know, if it was the case that sufficient attention to Sierra Leone was not paid by ministers because events in a little Commonwealth country were seen as marginal to the big picture of this government, I put it to them if they could possibly consider that for many people, very many people, both in this country and outside this country, that waited long years for a Labour government, one of the things they hoped to see from a Labour government was a very different approach to foreign affairs, not just in the question of ethics, but in terms of rebuilding and breathing life into our relationships with the Commonwealth. And there are very many people, both in this country and in Commonwealth governments, who are looking to what this government now does and says on Sierra Leone to bear out a genuine interest, a genuine commitment to what goes on in countries like Sierra Leone and the Commonwealth. Because you know, it may be that the Commonwealth isn't terribly new Labour, but we owe the Commonwealth a debt, a moral debt, a political debt, and some of us, so long as we're in this house, will try and ensure that that debt is paid.
Peter Emery.